Welcome, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for another Basically a Podcast. And with this podcast, I try to be a little educational with things that we talk about, and of course, fun. This one is with a good friend, Mezmoreyez.
Hey.
And, this is just gonna be shooting the shit. We're just gonna be talking, because this podcast is also an excuse to talk to friends.
Hey, that's a pretty good thing there.
Yeah. So, I want to ask right off the bat, working out, because I know for a while, maybe a year plus, I can't remember at this point. When you're on the internet long enough, everything blends together.
Yeah, absolutely. I've suffered from that as well.
And, I know you've been working out maybe for a year plus. What have you been doing to, lose weight and gain muscle?
Well, I was working out some last year. It wasn't for very long. And then, life kind of got in the way, and then I moved back here from California and hadn't been able to work out for a long time because, one, I was on an extremely low-calorie diet to start off, and then lockdown happened at that same time, so there was no gyms.
Right.
So, I lost a bunch of muscle and whatnot during that because I couldn't work out.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, there was a period there where I couldn't work out or anything. But mostly, I've started up a 3-day-a-week full-body gym program.
Nice.
Yeah, it's lower volume since it's, 3 days a week working the same parts, but with different exercises each day. But, that lower volume adds up, and it ends up working out pretty good.
Nice, that's good. So, when you say full body, so it's a little bit... So you just, top to bottom, just a little bit of this and that?
Absolutely, yeah. Usually 3 to 4 sets, but with lower weight. You're doing if you had to put it in a percentage of effort, probably 70 to 80% effort. So that way, you have your rest day, and then you're at it again, working the same parts. You don't want to really, really hit it to where you're out of commission on those muscles for a few days. You want to be able to hit them multiple times a week.
Interesting. And then for cardio, you were running until you got hurt for a little bit.
Yep. I might try to go out running today, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, but running was fun. I was doing about a mile, 2 miles, because I'm very, very new to it. I get out of breath so quickly, and I'm heavy still. I'm still 230. I just got to 230.
Now, what's your height, though?
Around 6'1" in that area.
All right, okay. You are a taller boy, so...
Yeah, taller and thick.
There you go. Okay.
So, yeah. I used to hate running. Absolutely, but now I like it.
Oh, I absolutely abhor running. I did a PE class in community college, and it was you had to go. You had to just keep running, and I hit the runner's high. I know what that feels like, and it's the weirdest feeling hitting that runner's high.
Yeah,
because you're I can't keep going. Well, I gotta, because I want to get my grade, and then it kicks in. You're holy crap! All right, I'm going now. So weird.
Yeah, your second win, your runner's high, whatever you want to call it. Once you hit that point, it's just you feel great.
It is such a weird thing. For me, I think if I had a choice, I'd prefer swimming to running, though.
Oh yeah, definitely lower impact.
And okay, I want to ask about. So you were doing low calorie. So how long was that going?
That was a 4-month low-calorie diet that I tried. I tried that Nutrisystem thing when lockdown first started because I didn't want to have to try to go to the stores and whatnot while everything was sold out and all these people were running around with no masks and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I tried the Nutrisystem thing. Wasn't bad. Probably wouldn't do it again, though.
Okay. Did they give you an exact number you were consuming, or?
I forget. They send you the certain amount of food you're supposed to eat a day, and then they send you a week's worth of food at a time, I want to say, a week or 2 weeks. And then you eat the amount you're supposed to eat, and that's it. That's the whole thing.
So, were you experiencing hunger pains and things like that, or was it enough, or?
Yeah, I was honestly pretty hungry through it. I don't remember the exact calories through the day, but, I stuck with it and tried not to eat anything extra.
Interesting. Okay. For
me... I lost a bit.
Oh, that's good. Losing weight is important. For me, it's, hunger is the only thing I really hate about any diet. That's the one enemy that I do not enjoy.
Yeah.
Part of it comes from just growing up poor, so I hate knowing that feeling again. But so I don't know. I think it's more I need to just work out to burn as much calories as I can, so I don't have to do it that way, I guess.
Well, if you do a diet right, if you figure out all your macros and your calories and blah blah blah, and then do like minus 10% of your what do they call it? Your maintenance calories.
Right.
What you would need to maintain your same exact body weight doing the same stuff you're doing now. You figure that out and then do like minus 10%. And then you'll still lose weight just doing the same stuff you'd normally do, but you're not eating that much less food.
Nice. Okay. Something to keep in mind. Like sometimes I put in the effort, I put in more to just study up on things to eat, study up on better ways to do body movements for workouts and things like that. Because there are people. The other problem is just people trying to sell you their stuff, though, is the other problem, though.
Yeah. Everybody's got the magic bullet that's going to fix all your problems.
But for me, it's become grinding it out, which I've come to realize that's just the person I am, so it works. I'm working out 6 times a week at this point. And
6 times a week?
Yeah, I just take Monday off. And
I would probably change that, like, just personally, change that to 2 days rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
but like up your volume somewhere.
Okay. I will take that in consideration for sure. Because I'm just thinking of like what helps me is my boss is a CrossFit guy, and he's stupidly competitive about CrossFit. So we set up a little gym at work.
Ah, okay.
So I'm able to work out at work.
All right. Well, in that case, there is another thing that you can do where you do your 6 days a week. You train heavy for, let's say, 2 weeks, and then for a week you lower the weight to like half of what you're normally doing. So you're still working out, but your body can rest, and then you go back to your normal weight.
Yeah, that's the one thing I keep thinking about is, you need to give your body rest, because if it doesn't heal back, you're just gonna... Because I tore my shoulder before. I was doing shoulder every day because I wasn't thinking about it, which was a mistake. Because how do we build muscle? We shred our muscles. We tear them so that they can come back stronger. And so what am I doing? I'm just tearing it to the point that it tore completely, which was real smart on my part. Jeez.
Yeah, like it can get dangerous if you don't focus on form and then letting things rest. Yeah, you can easily hurt yourself.
Yeah, so I understand the concern that I should be resting more. I get that for sure. Which is why
I mean, I've had an injury too. My left bicep, I hurt that pretty bad. I don't know what exactly I did to it, but years ago, I hurt it so bad doing a curl that I had like a dip in my bicep.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the mindset I've used is because I do isolation, so it's more... So the way I've done it is I'll do chest and back first day. Second day, I'll do legs and shoulders.
Okay.
And then the fourth day, but it's more major minor. So I'll do 5 sets of chest, 3 sets of back. And then I'll do 2 sets of like biceps. And then the second day I'll do shoulders and legs. So the major would be the first, like shoulders, and then 5 on shoulders, 3 on legs, and they'll do triceps. And then the third day it becomes 5 on back, 3 on chest, and then I'll do like core. So my idea is I'm giving these areas a day to rest between the next thing. But of course, if you want to get more complex, it becomes, well, when you're doing whatever exercise, it is working out other areas as well. So
yeah, when you're doing the compound movements like bench press or deadlift, the squats, you know, it works a lot of things.
And that's the one thing is everyone swears by deadlifts, but I can't do them because of my back injury. But everyone's like, you should still do them. Like, it's a back injury, guys. I can't. No. But
there's things you can do to replace deadlift. It's not the end all be all.
Yeah, there are some who think it is. Like I know I can maybe do like cleans, maybe it's clean and press, but I think that's also still a bit concerning on the back. So I don't know.
Well, you could do multiple isolation exercises that would work the same parts that a deadlift works, but they're safer to do individually.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's just it'll take more time. Which
Yeah.
is there's nothing like I spend like an hour a day working out basically because with all that added up, it takes about an hour. And if I
How
can,
often are you doing your biceps, you said?
biceps every 3 days.
Every 3 days? You could probably do that like every other day, since biceps are a smaller muscle that
Mm-hmm.
usually have a pretty good recovery time. You can hit them more often.
Okay, I can consider that
Yeah.
then. Because I know, because I give it that much time because I know that working out in general works your biceps and triceps. Just because using your arms for almost everything besides legs.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, if I can do it every other day, then I can consider that too.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's different for every person.
True.
Everybody has different recovery rates and whatnot. So just because I could do that doesn't mean everybody else could.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing at the end of the day is, it's really all I do is just anyone I know who works out. It's just what do they do, and I'll see if it works out for me or not, and then I'll go
Absolutely,
from
you got
there.
to find out what works for you.
Mm-hmm. Cause what tore up my shoulders was I was doing the battle ropes every single day.
Oh, okay.
Cause I got addicted to the battle ropes because when I first did them, you wipe out because they just tire you out so bad. And I got to the point where I was just being a beast with them because I was doing the 25ers and I was getting really beastly at them. So I was like, it just when you finally get to the top mountain, you're like, I just want to climb it again just to prove to myself I can do it. And I did it so much I tore myself, which is like, well, oops, that was real smart. I was out for a while.
Yeah.
But it is a concern in general for everyone fitness right now because because of the pandemic, like you're not outside. Well, some people
Absolutely.
still are, but
Yeah, I mean, I still have to go to work.
same. So I wear a mask at work all day, every day,
Oh, same.
and
Either a mask or a respirator, like a full-on P100. Yeah.
I wanted to ask about that last time, but I don't know enough. Like for me, it's a 45 psi. I think Scott's the brand for everything we use.
Oh, you use a forced air respirator?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we use. I don't know what you use. Just so it's a full mask. Scott, I think it's like called North Scott or something like that. And we use like 45 psi air tanks, and that's fun to lug around.
No, I'm sure. Yeah.
But it's an interesting experience. Like I just like okay, I'm just Darth Vader working on things. That's the way I take it.
Exactly. Yeah, mine's not that complex. It's just a normal face mask with two filters on the side.
Oh,
You
okay.
either have the ones that are non-chemical, or you also have chemical filters as well. So they have like the double hybrid cartridge kind of thing.
Okay, and it's like I can't remember what is it because we never use the filters because we have these guys. But it's like if you start tasting, can't remember, you taste metal or something in the air. That's when you need to change them out, right? Like
Something like that. They also just have a use time. You're supposed to chuck them out after a certain amount of use, because once you open them, they start going right there.
Right, true.
Yeah. But whereas the non-chemical ones, those you can use them until it either becomes difficult to breathe through or the lettering on the outside of the filter goes away.
Huh. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Talked about masks. That was a thing when this whole thing happened because I remember when I was in high school, there were kids who were obsessed with gas masks. I'm like, where are the guys just dicking around with gas masks during this whole thing? Because I think they'd be having fun at the moment.
Yeah.
Then again, filtered masks are a bit expensive at the same time.
Goodness. Have you been able to find N95s anywhere?
No, not at all.
Same.
It's just been using. So here's how my work did it, because I can talk about it. It was they straight up just took work shirts and just cut them into masks for like the first couple weeks.
Yup, mine did something the same. It was like women's leggings. They were taking and cutting those up and then making those into masks.
That was as placebo as you could get. There's no way that did anything.
You were supposed to like double or triple layer them or something like that. But even then, yeah.
And then, we were my boss was able to get M95s for the old people at work because you got to protect them as best you can at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then eventually the city just made their own masks. They're not 95 level, but they're still giving some protection at least. And then, and some people use gaiters, which they're just more comfortable, but
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of articles questioning the effectiveness of gators.
The problem with that article is it's not even what the test was about. The test was right now they're not even testing the gator. It was they were testing a thing to do tests on masks. That's what it was. It's like, so we're going to use an M95 on this machine. We're going to use a gator on it. We're using all these different things, and then they're like, here's the results using on it. So it shows that it can be used to test masks. And now we're going to start testing masks. Because like, here's the first pitch from each mask. And now we're going to start working on it. But because the results showed that the gators had like bigger droplets and stuff like that, people just ran with that article. I'm like, all right, well then this shows that gators aren't worth it, everybody. Huh?
Yeah, everybody wants to, with media in general, they want to take the most negative thing they can find because that's what sells. People like to be scared, apparently.
It's really frustrating. Like, I get it, but it's also frustrating. It's so frustrating. It's just the race to the bottom. You can have that with any media. Like, even with us, with like streaming, or for me with YouTube, if people they'll rush through a game so they can get to the final boss and have a video on the final boss on the first day. And it gets really frustrating. And not a fan of that.
No.
Also, just being, I would say, knowingly false about things. Like, the reason why fake news is a thing is because fake news does happen. It's really frustrating when you see it. You want journalists to be truthful, but they also need to keep themselves alive, so they sometimes don't do their due diligence, which gets frustrating.
Absolutely, it does. They need to report the truth and have integrity, but that does not happen most of the time.
Yeah, because the race to first makes more money, which is I don't know. I feel like there should be a movement for slow news.
Yeah. Most outlets would rather ship the wrong thing and get a bunch of views and then print a retraction later than take their time and print the truth and not get as much.
Yeah, that's become my frustration the last couple of years, to the point where, like, because when I was younger, I watched all the 24-hour news channels. I watched all of them. It's like, I'm getting all my news. And then you slowly get the realization, like, they're reporting as quick as they can, where they are getting things wrong, and if they do retractions, I never sell them, kind of situation.
Yep.
And so it did become a great frustration. So
absolutely understandable.
It's hard to know what to do when your news is not doing their job. And it really, you feel like an ass when you fall victim to it.
Yes.
Like, the big example right now I could think is the Covington kids one.
I'm not sure I've seen that.
That's the one where the Native American's in the face of the kid and he's just smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
That was a couple, like 1 or 2, 3 years back, where the framing was this kid got in the face of the Native American and he was just being an ass at him. And it was the other way around. The Native American got in the kid's face and the kid's like, well, this is an awkward situation, so I'm just going to smile. So everyone thought the kid was a douche and they sent a bunch of hate at him. And he won his lawsuit with CNN.
I had not heard of that.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I mean, I know I've seen the video, but I did not hear that that's what had happened.
Yeah, so that's the other frustrating thing, is sometimes you might not see the correction either. It's a bunch of just high school kids, so they're being dorks, and some of them got MAGA hats because high school kids are dorks.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of shouting going on between them and some, I think it was like a black Muslim group. They were doing a bunch of shouting. So the Native American comes in, and his whole idea is if he starts doing his peace chant, then maybe they'll calm down. But the whole frame that comes out of it is what I just said. Someone took shots, and they're saying this kid came up to him, and he's being this whole thing. And that becomes a problem of the realization of how many times clips are taken out of context. So many times. It's like you get a little clip of something and you don't get the full context, and whatever rage they want to get out of you, they get out of you.
Yeah. That's the whole part of, I guess, what you would call cancel culture as well.
Mm-hmm. Cancel culture is a weird, because some of it is righteous for sure. Like, the Me Too movement with like Harvey Weinstein and all that. That is very righteous. That is not a man who should be around.
Oh, absolutely.
And some of it is someone just doesn't like something and they found a way to clip it and then get everyone really mad for a little bit. Or just people evolve eventually. Like the whole, like the David, or just any comedian for the most part. A lot of comedians, they'll have jokes that they made back then that they don't believe in anymore now, but they get a lot of crap for it now from a joke from 10 years ago, which is very unfortunate.
Absolutely. You talking about, what's his name, Gunn?
Yeah, James Gunn is one example for sure.
Yeah. I couldn't remember his name for a second.
Yeah, James Gunn was one. I can't even... It was like a shock joke that he was going for, which was just a brand of humor at one point in time for us. Was you said the most shocking or dumbest thing you could think of.
Yeah. I mean, heck, they got Gilbert Gottfried here recently, or was it a bit ago? Yeah, he's no longer the Aflac duck because of a joke he made.
He made a joke about after the Japanese...
the tsunami.
Yeah, after the tsunami happened, he made a joke about that, and he lost the Affleck duck. And the thing about that was, that's Godfried his entire life. He just makes the worst joke he can make.
Pretty much.
It's, I don't know, because of my childhood, I'm of course can be a fan of Godfried anyway. Easy, I like him. What are you gonna do?
I like him, and I like stupid jokes, things that obviously aren't supposed to be hurtful. It's just supposed to, kind of take a dark situation, not really make fun of it, but bring some kind of smile or laugh out of it.
Yeah.
Even though you're not laughing at the situation itself, you're laughing at the stupidity of the joke.
Yeah, like the part of comedy has always been absurdist.
Yeah. It's not really dark humor, but just, it's absolutely stupid. Shock humor, like you would say. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I can remember when I was in high school, there was, like, dead baby jokes, or just racial jokes, things like that. You just make dumb jokes.
Yeah. Let's see if I can remember what his joke was. I think it was something like,
like his wife was, like, if you want...
It was, he lost his girlfriend in the tsunami, but it's okay, because another one will float on by.
There it is! Yeah, that was it. Like, oh,
something
shit.
Like that.
Yeah. He's like, oh man, I cannot believe.
Yeah, like wow. Obviously making a joke about the tragedy, but not really targeted to attack anybody. I laughed at it when I heard it, even though I was like, that's wrong, Yeah,
it's one of those jokes where you laugh because like, holy crap, that's so messed up. It's one of those kind of jokes.
Right, exactly.
And I get it. Like, there's a lot of people on the planet, and not everyone has a sense of humor, and those are the people that are really going after the comedians, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And because the whole thing that happened to James Gunn, it was like some big alt-right guy's like, I want to see if I can take him out, and he did. He pulled it off because it would take him out of context far enough. You're gonna go get somebody, and that's what happened to James Gunn. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he get reinstated though? Eventually?
Yeah. It took a while. It affected a lot of things, and as far as the MCU plans were, but he's back in. At the end of the day, there's some good to it because he also got to work with DC because of it. So we're gonna see he's working on the new Suicide Squad. It's got to be done by now, I figure. So if you didn't like the last Suicide Squad, maybe this will be good because it's him doing it.
Maybe, I would hope so.
Because the last Suicide Squad was copying him in the first place anyway. When you think
pretty
about
much.
It. So why get a copycat when you can just get the guy himself? Let's see what he does. Which, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies 1 and 2 are two of my favorite movies out of the MCU.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, Suicide Squad, it wasn't, like, god-awful, but it wasn't great either.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What was my favorite joke out of Suicide Squad? It might just be the simple one with Captain Boomerang when they're like, "You guys can leave," and he just pieces out the moment they say you guys can go at the bar. He's like, "All right, I'm out. Screw this. I'm not gonna do anymore." There is potential. Like for DC movies, I feel like there's always potential there. They just didn't get it right. They didn't stick to landing.
Absolutely. I mean, they have a fantastic Harley.
Oh yeah.
Will Smith actually pulled off Deadshot pretty decently.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else did they have in there? Killer Croc. I didn't like their version of Killer Croc. He didn't look crocky enough.
He was okay. Like,
yeah, he was all right.
Yeah, Killer Croc he's a big old crack guy.
Yeah, he just looked like a dude in makeup, not like a dude that's part crocodile or something.
Yeah, that's true. He's just a big buff guy. I do think their Waller was perfect. Like, she was cold. Ooh.
Absolutely, she was great.
Then this Jared Leto. Oh my god.
Yeah, I not a fan of that version of the Joker. Although, they did do some things right with it. Joker's supposed to be the clown prince of crime.
Mm-hmm.
In most of the other Joker movies, you don't get that, but that one, he is the clown prince of crime.
True.
Yeah.
I was interested in seeing this Bonnie and Clyde concept out of it, like, because we always get that Joker and Harley, and Joker is just an abusive boyfriend, and Harley doesn't get it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of curious about this version of a Joker that cares about Harley. I was actually curious about that version. It's an effed up relationship anyway, but I'm at least curious to see what would a couple that is all about mayhem, what would they be like? But we didn't get that, so.
No, didn't Joker really only have like 3 scenes?
Yeah, he had more, but they cut all of it out.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Who knows? I think people they want a director's cut of that. Like, there's so many, like, we want this cut. Everything.
Oh yeah, they're getting the Schneider cut of the Justice League.
I'll check it out. I don't know if it'll save it, but I'll check it out at least. But we talked about it last time, actually. It's like everyone is treating DC like Blade Runner. Like, there's like 7 cuts of Blade Runner, so like maybe there's a cut of each of these DC movies that's worth watching.
Well, freaking DC, they can do television shows and stuff like that. Fan-freaking-tastic. But it seems like every time they do a movie, things just get tripped up so hard. Like the situation with Henry Cavill's mustache. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting, the difference between DC and Marvel in that, DC has, like, Marvel's done really well with the movies, while DC's done well with everything around the movies. Like, their TV's been really good, their animation movies have been top-notch compared to Marvel's animation movies.
Oh, absolutely.
And when it comes to comics, I feel like DC does better comics than Marvel. Like, I read a lot of both, but I think DC's just really been much better the last, like, decade at this point. But they just
I haven't read comics in a long time, so I couldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
But when it comes to the movies, it's hit and miss. Like, I enjoyed Aquaman.
Yeah, I thought Aquaman was fun.
I thought the best scene of Aquaman was the horror scene, like those things. The visuals of those, I can't remember the name of those monsters at this point. But just the visuals of those guys chasing them around was really good. Like, damn, that's nice.
Yeah, spooky.
And they're giving them a movie, which is weird. They're giving them a horror movie.
Oh, so, that's cool.
Be curious.
Okay, we're kind of bouncing all over the place here. But speaking of horror movies in DC, have you seen Brightburn?
I have. I just the concept. I'm like, I don't really. I have not seen it.
Okay, so for people who don't know, Brightburn is basically what would happen if, when Superman was a kid, instead of being good, he turned into a serial killer.
We'd all be screwed.
And yeah, that's what Brightburn is. It's Superman as a young boy discovering his powers and just murderating people.
And it is a James Gunn, I think, production. I don't think he directed, but he did produce it.
I think so. And they're supposed to be making more of those because that one did fantastic. And it had like a stupid low budget and made a bunch of money. So they're doing one on, it's a bit of a spoiler, but at the end of the movie on TV, they have, what's his name? Crap. Who's the guy who plays J. Jonah Jameson? I can't think of his name right now.
Oh, all of a sudden I can't remember either, and he's in so many things.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it. Let's see.
Wow. He's in so many I can't. Wow. Yeah, blanking on him too. No, I'm thinking of the wrong names. Okay, Google. Here we go.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
I'm searching Cave Johnson. Oh, what's it? Oh, J.K. Simmons.
That's it. Yeah, I can never remember his name. Good Lord, that took a bit. But he comes on at the end, and he's a news broadcaster, I believe, and he's talking about some kind of half man, half fish sea creature that drowns people. A insanely strong woman that ties you up and makes you tell the truth, and then somebody who moves faster than the eye. So, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash are probably getting their own horror movies.
Wow, he's just full on doing it. I remember.
I guess so.
I read Brightburn because I wasn't going to watch it, so I read the whole thing. Apparently, there's a deleted scene unless it's in there that the girl he injures, she gets like a bionic arm or something, so she can go after him in like a deleted scene.
Yes, I think she's supposed to be Lex Luthor.
Okay.
I think.
Or Cyborg? I don't know, but she's supposed to be his nemesis, so like, I don't know. It's just the concept of, if you make Superman evil, then we're all screwed. That's it. We're done. Superman's kind of ridiculous. I think that's the reason why I didn't care. I'm like, I don't, we'd all be screwed. I know the ending.
Well, what if evil Batman comes out and fucks over evil Superman?
Right. I wouldn't have a problem with that because I've always been a Batman fan.
Yeah, it's like, Superman's OP, but Batman always has a plan for everything, and he'd somehow make it work because that's Batman.
Yeah. For me, so they're saying with the next one, the Robert Pattinson Batman, they're like, it's going to explore his trauma with his parents. I'm like, oh, really? Like, that's a new thing. Okay.
Like, we haven't seen that every single Batman movie.
How many times have we seen those pearls break? How many times?
A lot. I remember, okay, which one was it? Good grief. I remember going to see a Batman movie. It must have been Dark Knight or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But I remember going to see it in theaters with my best friend. And at one point, there comes the murder scene again. And I just kind of said out loud without really thinking, oh my God, how many times are we going to see his parents die? And then somebody in the row, like in my row, like 3 seats down to the left goes, can you please be quiet?
It's like if we got Superman's movie and we just kept watching Krypton explode every movie.
Right?
I really, honestly, maybe it's because I'm just a fan, but it's something I liked about the Marvel Spider-Man movie, is we didn't go over his origin again because everyone knows it, and I'd like Batman to do the same things. Like, we already know the origin. We don't have to keep going over this origin.
Absolutely.
Like, I think everyone knows his parents are dead. I think everybody knows. And everyone knows Spider-Man, his uncle got killed. Like, we all know this.
Yes. All the Uncle Ben's rice jokes are out there. We all know.
So, like, I honestly want one where he's just developed. Like, I want developed Batman and actually explore the Bat family. I want something like that.
Yeah, like an alternate universe Batman would be good.
Yeah. Like, if they wanted to, they could make just a Bat universe. I'm surprised they never tried, because he's got so many members of that dang family.
Yeah, well, I mean, they tried with the TV show Batwoman, which it was okay. I think their budget's what held them back, probably, but they also kind of canceled that show because apparently it was very dangerous. Like, somebody got paralyzed for life on set. Ruby Rose almost got hit by lights falling out of the staging areas and stuff. It's just, yeah. But, they have plenty of material they could work with in that universe without doing Batman himself. But if you want to go Batman himself, there is one I'd like to see, and that's a horror movie for Batman based around the Batman Who Laughs.
Oh, God, the Batman Who Laughs. Woo!
Yes. That
wouldn't be something like that. That's a rough one. Holy crap.
Yeah, that would be extremely psychological and messed up.
Like, I feel like that was a route that could have been taken with Ben Affleck's Batman. Because in Batman vs. Superman, The scene where he's just hiding out and the cops find him, and he's just like, "Oh, this is a scary Batman right here." There is potential.
I actually really liked him as Bruce Wayne. It's a shame he's not coming back.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing that the movies just it's hard to do, I guess, but anything in general, exploring just how important Bruce Wayne is, besides how important Batman is.
Yeah,
like it's never enough. It's in the Dark Knight version. He's like, well, I'll just be a dork. Like the Christian Bale Batman, he's like, I'll just be a dork as Bruce Wayne, so no one figures out that I'm Batman. And so he doesn't do anything special as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne is supposed to be involved with pretty much everything and trying to do whatever he can to better the world, while at night going out and beating the crap out of criminals.
Like, I think that's the problem, is because of that, people don't really... They see Batman as just a rich guy who beats up criminals, and he doesn't actually do any good. And part of it is true because he keeps arresting these guys and they keep getting out. But if you watch like the animated series, you see quite a bit of Bruce Wayne doing philanthropy all over the place in that show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I remember the scene that always gets to me, this is a very old callback to that show. I forget which episode it is. There's one where he goes into an alley for whatever reason, and he sees a homeless man. He gives him $100, and then another homeless man shows up, and another homeless man shows up, and he's just handing out money. And then he gets overwhelmed by the homeless, and he realizes, I'm not really doing anything here. And then he opens up a homeless shelter in that area. It's like, that was a pretty cool statement in that show.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, that makes me want more Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond was good.
Yeah, there's people who really want oh goodness, now I'm having another blank on the actor. Beetlejuice.
Oh, Michael Keaton?
Yeah, they want him to come back as old Batman.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be good. Like, he's coming back. Well, what you were saying?
Oh, I think you're right. He is coming back as some kind of Batman, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He's going to be in Flashpoint. I assume he's going to be Owlman.
Okay, cool.
Which, are you familiar with Flashpoint?
Here and there, a little bit.
Okay, so for anyone who isn't, Flashpoint is this big arc in the Flash's storyline where he messes with time to save his mom. And by doing that, he messes with time. Oh, it's his mom or his dad? And
I think it's his mom.
Okay, and because of that, a lot of things get changed, and it ends up being Bruce Wayne gets killed instead of his parents when he comes back. And so it's like, it's Owlman or it's Batman. It's one or the other. And it's a super brutal version of Batman because, well, his son died, so he's really pissed. And Michael Keaton would be perfect for that character because he's an older Batman. So that's what I figured.
Absolutely, and I really like Michael Keaton too. So.
He's been good.
Yeah, and I forget who people wanted for young Batman, but I don't know. If they could pull that off in live action, it would be so cool.
Mm-hmm. But the theory is because we're doing Flashpoint, it's going to reset the DCU again. So we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, they reset it all the time.
Yeah, I get it. I get why they want to do it, because things keep happening. Like, there's stuff going on with Amber Heard. She was...
Yes.
So stuff going on with her, so they might want to reboot, keep Jason Momoa, but take her out. That's what reboots can do, but I hope MCU never reboots. I hope they just keep going forward and we just see what the evolution of that roster does. Because I really don't want to see another Captain America and Iron Man in the next couple of years. I want to just see, well, like a reboot of that whole thing. We get to watch him fight Red Skull again and all that. I want to see just that whole roster evolve. I'm hoping they stick.
I don't if Marvel goes forward with the way they have in the comics, since spoilers, Tony Stark's gone, there is a young black girl that becomes the next Iron Man.
Yep, I forgot her name also, but she's Ironheart.
Yeah.
And like Captain America isn't Steve Rogers anymore. Spider-Man is now Miles Morales. All that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thor is
a woman.
Yeah, I forgot her name all of a sudden.
Jane Foster.
Yeah, Jane Foster. My only problem with Jane Foster getting it in the MCU right now is she hasn't been much of a character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So then now she's gonna get, like, really, like, because comic book Jane Foster has been in the comics for decades. She earns the right to be worthy. While Jane Foster hasn't really done much in the movies. Like, if they were planning on her always becoming Girl Thor, they could have done more with her in the first place.
I forget what the reason is, like, this storyline even happens. I think she, like, gets cancer or something like that, and then through her struggle with cancer becomes worthy and is Thor for a little while before she loses the power and dies or something.
Yeah, like, I don't remember the complete origin of why. I think it's part of it is Thor's gone. He leaves. So someone's got to be Thor. And yeah, it's an interesting dynamic is she uses the power of Thor, but every time she uses it, it also accelerates her cancer.
Yes.
So she's saving lives while killing herself at the same time. It's like, well, that's a crazy dynamic to dive into.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that's what it was.
And, like, but yeah, she's been around forever in the comics, so there's enough to build up her character. Well, she's not really built in the movies. Like, they have a perfect character to do it, and it's not her, it's Valkyrie.
Yo, Valkyrie is pretty awesome.
Heck yeah, I'd love to see Valkyrie as Lady Thor instead.
Yeah, but apparently instead it's going to be Jane Foster and Valkyrie. They're having that movie together. Yeah, well, apparently they're like a couple.
Oh, they're going that far? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Because I know it's called Love and something, right?
Love and Thunder, I think?
Yeah. Huh, alright.
Yeah, I think they become love interests.
Interesting, because Valkyrie's really cool. And
yeah, I love Valkyrie. Great character.
They thinly veiled that she's a lesbian. But yeah, that she's a lesbian, she's a lesbian in comics. So we'll see what they do. The MCU's just been quiet right now, just because, everything's been happening, so we'll see what happens. We're finally getting an Asian hero at some point.
I forget who it was.
Yeah, because there's only so many. There's only so many Asian characters when you think about Marvel. Also, when you think about DC. Right now, the best Asian representation is Wong, and he was cool.
Who?
But that's all we got. The Asian guy who works with Doctor Strange. That's all we got right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's a fun character, but that's all we got.
I mean, Peter Parker's friend.
Oh yeah, I forgot Peter Parker's friend. It's weird. That dude's like 30-something, and he's playing a high school kid. It's like, wait, what? Like, actually, wow. But also, like, all of them were, of course, they're adults playing younger. Like, I think I suddenly forgot his name, but I think it was like 21, 22 when he played Peter Parker, so at least it was closer.
Oh, and Tobey Maguire?
Not
or
Tobey,
Andrew Garfield?
The newest one. Forgot his name. Holy crap, forgetting actors' names all of a sudden.
Yeah, see, I do that too. I'm so bad with names.
But the MCU Spider-Man, he's like 21 or 22 when he got Spider-Man. Whereas his love interest...
Tom Holland.
Yeah, Tom Holland. His love interest, she was like 27, I think. I was like, wow. I was like, okay.
In good grief, that girl.
Some people look young, but yeah, she was, yeah.
I saw her in, I think it was The Black Klansman, was what I saw her in as well.
Oh, and wow.
She was gorgeous in that.
Now, I want to talk, before we stop, okay. I do want to talk about anime and manga a little bit.
All right, sure.
So, what have you been watching and reading lately?
Let's see. I've been basically only watching anime with my girlfriend, so I don't watch things without her, so I don't watch as much as I used to, I
get you, I did that.
Yeah, but we've been watching Fire Force, which has been pretty good. The God of High School, which just started up, that was actually originally a Korean webcomic. And I think it was on Webtoon is where that started up. And then Webtoon kind of bought it, started working with Crunchyroll, and they turned it into an anime. Tower of God was one that we were watching. That's on hiatus right now, waiting for the next season. And then there's one more. What was it? Rent a Girlfriend. That one is actually surprisingly wholesome.
Okay, all right. I was like, what?
Okay, so I'll give you a quick rundown on what that one is.
Okay.
Basically, it's the main character has a girlfriend, and they break up. It's a pretty bad breakup. She was like his first true love kind of thing, and she went and got another guy pretty quickly or something like that. And he was so down in the dumps and full of sorrow that he is browsing on his phone one day, I think, and sees an ad for a rental girlfriend. So he goes through this app and looks, and then ends up buying some time from this lady. And she acts as his girlfriend during their appointed times. And a lot of things happen from that, and it's very interesting.
Huh. I'm kind of curious, but also like, do I want to watch this as a single man? I don't know. There's certain anime that I want to watch, but I can't watch it until I'm no longer single. Like, there's some anime like
it's, you know what? I'd say it's safe to watch while single.
Because like, there's like romantic anime that I know would be really enjoyable, not single. But right now, single. So I still haven't watched Your Name because I'm single. Because I know there's a lot of. I haven't seen that one either. Like, I know there's a lot of like angst in it. So I'm like, I can't deal with angst right now. I cannot deal with angst.
Sorry, I just remembered another one. We were also watching ReZero. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Oh, ReZero. That's the one with the blue-haired girl, right? That everyone likes to draw. Okay. Now, I want to ask about Tower God and High School God? Is that what's called?
God of High School.
God of High School. I want to ask about those. But first, a negative moment. How far are you into Fire Force?
The manga or the show?
Let's go. Oh, okay. The show.
Okay, for the show, I'm about 2 episodes behind right now.
Okay. So I quit that anime, and really? I'm gonna make a complaint, and maybe you can sell me get back on it. We've had this conversation before. I don't want to say I'm a prude because I do love the T and the A.
The fan service.
Yeah, I don't like fan service when it interferes with storytelling or with things. And the episode that killed it for me was when he's fighting the stars guy. Like the guy with the stars in his eyes. He always says, "Oh, my stars," and all that crap.
Yes.
He's fighting him. And it's after this super emotional moment with the cat girl. Like, it was a really emotional moment, that episode. Like, you really feel for her. And then they have the big fight, and he hits him, and he starts rolling, and he goes face first into her boobs. In the middle of this super intense fight. I was like, well, that just deflated all the tension of the fight. And
that might be why they do that, but I agree with you that it gets annoying.
So I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding with me. Like, because I'm okay with when she's TNA, when she's fan service for the comedy bits. I'm like, all right, fine, okay, that's funny. But in the middle of a super serious fight, it just turned me off. Like, oh, you gotta be kidding. So I was looking it up, and people were like, it doesn't get better. Then it's gonna get worse in the future. I'm like, oh, come on.
That character in particular has a few more moments like that, yeah.
Like, do they always just ruin the action, though, with that, or?
Not always, but it is something that happens a few more times, to my knowledge.
Like,
what's her name again? Tamaki, right?
I think that's her name. Like, because I don't want to... I'm not, like, holier than thou. I really like women a lot. I like looking at them.
Of course.
But I do like it separated from the serious moments, and... Like, it's fine.
No, I can completely understand that, yeah. But, it's shonen.
Yeah.
And they tend to do that. And that character in particular, that's part of her whole gag. So, she's in there kind of often. It happens.
Oof. Because I really, really like the Fire Witch. She's so cool. She's so badass. The buff
Maki?
one. Yeah.
Yes!
I like her
Muscle
so
ladies!
Much. Yes. Like, I like muscle ladies a lot.
Me too. I'm dating one.
There you go. Living a dream.
That's right.
Because I've been wondering about checking out how heavy your dumbbells or something like that.
I've heard that one's pretty good.
It's got some good information. It's also a bit fan servicey, but I'm like, well, it's still Muscle Chick, so I might be okay with that. Also, I think it's more of a comedy anime anyway, so.
Yeah, it's like slice of life comedy.
Oh, okay, so I want to ask about so Tower of God. I've heard complaints, but is it still good? Like,
what are the complaints you've been hearing?
I think the complaints is just I guess because there's just too much, they can't cram it all in there or something like that, or.
I've never read the comic for Tower of God, so I can't compare the two. but they are kind of moving pretty fast with the first season so far, as far as animation goes.
Okay. And then
it is pretty decent though. I'll say that.
So I might check that out. And then God of High School?
Oh, sorry. You were talking about Tower of God just a second ago?
Yeah, I was talking about Tower of God.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so I have read the comic for Tower of God.
Okay.
I've read a bit of that. They do change some things up. And they do speed it up for that as well. But I think that the anime does it a bit better than the comic in some points. But yeah, there is a lot in that comic there, and they are trying their best to condense it into a watchable format. So there's going to be the purists who don't like it, just like with Lord of the Rings and the movies versus the books.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot that you're missing in the movies, but that doesn't mean the movies are bad.
All right, so Tower of God is missing Tom Bombadil. Okay.
It's good though.
What? Okay, it's good. So I'll check it out then. God of High School. So what's so special about that? Because I've heard people like it. So.
Okay, so it's the same exact thing as the other one. It was a Korean webcomic, and then Webtoon got a hold of it and worked with Crunchyroll, and now they're animes.
Huh.
So let's see, God of High School. So that's the one I haven't read the comic for. I have nothing to compare it to. But so far, the animation and the soundtrack has been really great.
Ooh.
The story seems good so far, but a little bit rushed. Because, once again, I'm certain there's probably a lot they can't just fit into 20-something minutes.
Okay.
But the characters so far all seem to be pretty likable. I haven't seen fan service yet, which is odd. Because usually you'll see it pretty quickly in shonen type things.
Yeah, unless they just don't do it.
Yeah. But goodness, it's pretty good so far. But like I said, a bit fast paced. So I might go back and read the comic.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it's you and her, you're watching more like action-y kind of animes. So shonen basically.
Yeah, I'll watch a bit of everything, but normally I seem to gravitate more towards shonen just because I never regretted my Dragon Ball Z phase.
It's a good face. It's a good face.
Yeah.
Random not romantic. It's like romantic comedy one I like that I'd recommend just because as a couple even more is unless you've already seen it, Ore Monogatari.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's the one with the giant guy and the small girlfriend. And it's really enjoyable. It's really enjoyable. So I just recommending that just out of nowhere.
My love story.
Yeah, that's what it's called. There you go.
I think I've seen pictures of that, yeah.
It's a pretty sweet anime. I like it a lot. Like
that height difference and size difference just reminds me of, like you said, me and my lady friend, because she's about 5 feet tall. And I'm like 6'1". So yeah.
Wow. Nice. One thing I want to mention, because it's coming up, and so I'm also contributing to this conversation. I mentioned this last time, and that is, I can't remember. It's Nani Desu. Forget it. I'm not going to say Japanese name. It's I'm a spider, so I'm a spider, so what? It's getting an anime in 2021, January. It was supposed to be this year. It's going to be with Crunchyroll. And it was like a web novel that turned into a light novel that turned into a manga that turned into an anime. Oh god, web novel. Wow.
Yeah, you just got it.
I didn't even catch it. Oh wow. Alright. But what's interesting about it is this is gonna be the fourth incarnation. It's gonna be an anime of it. And I really, really like the manga because that's where I popped in. Okay. Oh, by the way, I mentioned before with you, I checked out Max Level Witch. Like she's been killing slimes for 300 years, so now she's Max Level.
Yes.
Really good.
It's so wholesome.
It's so wholesome. I really enjoy like how wholesome it is. Yeah. And just how funny it's been. And they just
I've got a few more that you might enjoy that I'll tell you about in a little bit.
Because I like it a lot. Like, while looking for it, I accidentally ran into another anime because I was looking for slimes called Slime Life. and it's a
Slime
really sweet and wholesome manga as well. Where
Aw.
it's a dark mage who owns a shop, and she's like, "Well, I need a servant," and they send her a slime. She's like, "Oh, come on, I wanted like a golem or something," but the slime's super cute. So she's like, I'm keeping this guy. And it's just at first, it's a story of her managing a shop and trying to find excuses to hug him because he's just a little cute slime boy. And then it becomes this really sweet just story of just a shop owner and her handy slime guy just managing a shop and just interacting with other characters. And
That's
eventually,
adorable.
it's really adorable. Eventually, he learns magic and he gets really sweet. It's a really sweet manga. It's one of those that's one you could read with a kid kind of mangas.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Slime Life. I'm gonna open a tab up right now so I can
It's sweet.
remember that.
Oh man, it's pretty good. Like they already have 140 chapters, I think, out. But it's like like a 6 or 8 pager manga, so it's a weekly manga.
Gotcha.
So they're really short, but it's really sweet. Like it's a very fluffy manga. Like nothing. It's just you want to feel happy when you read this manga. That's kind of thing. Nothing super major happens.
I've found a few of those that are like that. You're just really happy about it.
But I sidetracked myself. Spider. So they're getting an anime, and I recommend it. It's really good. It's if you like just technical combat, I guess, in an MMO kind of world, because there's levels and skills and XP and all that.
Okay. And
she's just a spider trying to survive this dungeon and level up and evolve into a stronger spider. Because she starts out at literally the weakest thing in this entire place is the spider. Like, there's no slimes in this universe. She's the weakest thing. And it's her climbing to the top.
I just Googled it and there's a trailer for it, so I'll have to watch that later.
It's a 3D anime, so I hope they do it well, because 3D is hard to do.
Yeah, it is. Most of the time I'm not a fan of it, but we'll see.
And yeah, I got hopes for it, so I'm recommending that to you and anyone who's listening.
Okay.
January 2021, but the manga's there. And it's interesting, just one more thing about it is reading it as a manga, because it only covers her. In the novelization, it's like Game of Thrones. There's a bunch of characters in this isekai.
Oh.
But she's the main character of it. So while she's surviving the dungeon, there's other characters who got reincarnated too, and they're having like really happy lives while she's miserably trying to survive in a dungeon.
Oh no.
And eventually they're all going to meet up in like 200 chapters or something. It's like, oh, okay, that's curious.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I'll admit I'm a fan of isekais.
Oh yeah. So let's go with whatever recommendations you want to make, and then we'll head out because I know it's getting on time.
Sure. Let's see. So for ones that you can read when you want to feel happy, I have a couple of them that are pretty wholesome. One of them, I may have told you about it before, but it's called Ascendence of a Bookworm.
If you did, my bad for forgetting, because I don't know if I heard this one.
I love recommending this one to people, so I don't remember who all I've told about it. But basically, it's this lady who... she just really, really loves books. And she only had her job so that way she could buy more books. She ends up working herself to death at this job, like literally dies while trying to take a nap on her work desk, and gets reborn in a small sickly child of a poor family in this other world.
Oh dear.
And, one of the first things that happens when she wakes up is she's looking around like, there's no books. Where are all the books? She goes and realizes basically what's happening, sees the new people who are her parents, and asks them about books. And they kind of look at her strange, like, those are only for extremely wealthy people. So the rest of the adventures of this person who got reborn is this small, cute girl trying to find ways to either make books or get rich enough to buy them because she loves books that much.
Huh. That's interesting. Okay, yeah, you haven't told me that one. That's interesting.
Yeah. And, there's like magic and stuff and a few other things in there, but it's pretty wholesome. Another one is, If It Was For My Daughter, I'd Even Defeat a Demonlord, I think was the name.
Okay, that one. Okay, I've heard of that one. Not a lot, though. I've just heard the name.
Yeah, that one's, it's pretty fun. It's like a famous hero who is known for slaying demons. is out on a mission and finds a small demon girl who basically doesn't seem to be a threat, doesn't try to attack him, and he's like, this is strange, that kind of thing. So he takes her with him and starts raising this small demon girl as his daughter, hiding her identity from all the townspeople. And he turns into a doting dad really quick, and it's super adorable.
Huh. There's a lot of in anime and manga. I've noticed there's a lot of found family stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. I guess there's a lot of people who either want children or didn't know their parents or something like that. So the stories appeal to a lot of people. And then let's see, for something that's not wholesome. There's one, it's a Korean webcomic called Solo Leveling or Only I Level Up. It's got a few different names that it's called by.
Cheers.
But it's another one of those things where the guy basically, it's already another world kind of thing. He wasn't reborn in this world. It's a world where you have people called hunters. They are people who have awakened to a power and have received a class, and they go into dungeons to defeat the boss to keep the creatures from the dungeons from spilling out into the normal world. He gets killed in one that's really, really terrible and comes back with a gamer-like ability, pretty much, where he receives quests, and if he completes the quests, he levels up and all this kind of stuff, which makes him really unique, because once normal people in this world get their class and awaken, that's how strong they stay for the rest of their life, unless they get the super rare second awakening.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, it's all about, his adventures through that. He was, to spoil it a bit, the weakest hunter to begin with in the world, pretty much. And then he gets this second awakening after that bad dungeon goes wrong and starts gaining strength super quick. And it's all about that process and what happens between them. And it's, just him, grinding stuff out like a gamer. So,
Interesting. I think
speaking of which, there's another one called The Gamer, which is very similar, but yeah.
I think I enjoy more the ones where they grind up the level instead of, it depends on the version. Max Level Witch is really cute. Her being OP is just really funny. It's not about the tension of her losing. When action animes do it, there's no tension because, they're OP. So it's not
like
so
One Punch Man.
Yeah, One Punch Man, what makes One Punch Man so good is not about, it's partially about him being OP, but the other part is the deconstruction of basically Superman, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And he's surrounded by characters who are not him, and we look at them a lot. So it's not only about One Punch, which is what's great about it.
Yeah, there's so many other stories going on.
But the other thing is, it's because he wants to find someone strong to fight too, instead of just, I'm OP and I'm beating all these things with a yawn. While he's like, I really want to find something I can fight. So I think the dynamic's good with One Punch compared to other action OP characters.
Yeah. Let's see. Trying to think. I think there was one more that I've been reading lately. I can't remember off the top of my head. Goodness, my memory. Chainsaw Man. That one's not wholesome, but it's pretty good.
The title might give that one away.
Yeah, I'll give a little. Okay, so it's in this world there are demons. The demons are created from the thought power of humanity, pretty much. If enough people are afraid of something or believe it exists, it does. So the more scary something is, the more powerful of a demon it creates. So the most powerful demon in this world is the gun demon, because everybody's afraid of guns.
Huh.
And the kid, who is the main character of this story, has this little dog demon, pretty much, that has a chainsaw coming out of its head. And he is real good friends with this little demon, even though demons are normally bad. This one is apparently pretty friendly towards him. It's about their daily life for a little bit, and then he gets killed, fuses with the demon, and becomes Chainsaw Man.
Oh, okay. Curious.
And he ends up fighting the bad demons. And I'm not going to say any more than that, but yeah.
So is it just, it's action, like super gore, or is it just...
Yeah, it can get kind of gory.
Okay. Well, yeah. When it comes to demons, gore usually happens.
Yeah. But it's pretty decent.
All right.
Got an interesting art style. It's funny. But yeah, not wholesome.
Okay, I'm curious. All right. I'll check these out. See what I think of them. See what I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So that's it. That is basically a podcast. I think it was a fun talk. It was real fun.
Absolutely, yeah. I enjoyed it.
People can find you on Twitter, still at Mezmoreyez, right?
Matt Mezmoreyez TV.
On Twitch, right?
That's my tweeter.
Oh, your Twitter is TV? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I apparently forgot your Twitter on that one. All right, okay. Dude, I thought you had. All right.
That's all good.
Yeah, then there's still your Twitch, which you stream for the first time in like a month. So.
Yeah, so I don't really use that. They don't need to know about that.
Yeah, okay. So just the Twitter. But it's fun talking to you, and I will want you on again at some point just to randomly talk.
Absolutely.
So this has been basically a podcast. I hope everyone had fun. I know I had fun. This was enjoyable. So thank you to our guest, Mezmoreyez. I had fun. Hope you all had fun watching and listening. And that's what it's all about, is it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.
Yeah.